morning, friends. Welcome back to my channel. So today, yes, I have no makeup on. That's because we're going to be putting it on together, but instead of a like chatty get ready with me type video, instead we're going to be doing the makeup and writing tag that Alexa Dunn created back in like the spring of 2018. I don't know how many other videos there were like this, but I love it because I have to get ready. I want to film some content and I love talking about writing. So let's kind of put all those three things together. And I think that this was like taken to make the Authortube version of the makeup and books tag on BookTube. Anyways, let's get to putting on my face. So the first question, I have my computer, so if you see me kind of dart away, it's because I'm going to look at the questions too. Primer. What's your brainstorming process / favorite brainstorming tip? Before we get into the question, I will show you what my primer that I use. This is the Cover FX Blurring Primer. I love this primer. So my favorite brainstorming tip, I have my little writer's notebook and I just brain dump like everything. Like when I come up with an idea, I just write and write and write every little thought that I have. I'll write scenes, I'll listen to music, I'll write quotes that sometimes come to me, because as you know, like as writers, sometimes we don't come up with just, it's not like we come up with this idea and it's a fully fleshed story. It's a lot of times just an idea. Sometimes it's just two characters sitting in a room talking to each other and you hear like a line. You know, you just want to write everything down, and then as it snowballs, just get it out as fast as possible and as detailed as possible, right? So when I was working on, before I even started outlining or doing anything else for Behind the Red Door, I had pages and pages and pages of just random ideas of what I thought the book would be. I think I'm primed. Foundation. Are you a gardener or an architect? i.e., do you outline or not? So I don't remember the name who they said came up with this like gardener or architect. I think a lot of times we also call it like, are you a pantser or a plotter? For me, I am in the middle. So I really consider myself more of like a plantser, or what would you call this, as like architectural gardener? I don't know. So I really like the e.l.f. like BB cream, and I used that for a lot of years, but then I just found this at 7-Eleven one day. I was like, I'll try it out, and I actually surprisingly really like it. It's basically very similar to the e.l.f. BB cream. So this is what I wear when I'm actually putting on like more foundation, liquid stuff. Other times it's just a powder, but today I'm doing the Simply Me Beauty BB cream. So I am definitely a plantser, or whatever you would call it, with this architect gardener idea. So I am somebody that I have an outline, but I'm going off my outline very kind of loosey-goosey. Like it's a guide to tell me like, okay, this is something that I need to happen. I'm mostly just, my real guide and my real outline is just the beat sheets. And so that's something that I sat down after reading the Save the Cat book for writers. I was like, yes, this is what I need to make my book better. I did a chapter by chapter outline, but it's still just, I don't even think I'm honestly following that right now. I'm more just using that like a look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know I'm supposed to have this thing happen here, but the book has also kind of added its own stuff. And I also don't know every single thing within the scene. I'm not explaining this well at all. So basically, like, I'll sit down and I just know, all right, right now, based on my outline, I need to write a scene where the two friends meet, or where these two people do this thing. And then when I sit down, then the rest comes to me. Let's get some tea and do the next question. Concealer. So I use the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in number 10 light. So this is about revision. So here's something I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. I am calling this like the makeup and writing tag drafting, and then I am going to probably do one, I want to say maybe after I've done a couple of rounds of revisions, and see if my answers are any different. Love revision or hate it? What's your revision process like generally? And I cannot answer that because I have not revised my novel, because as you guys know, I'm still writing my first draft of my first novel, so I can't really answer that. I will say though that from a drafting standpoint, I am very, very excited to start revisions because I can already see like all these places that I know where I want to go back and fix things, and I know that I have like revisions that I can do, and it's so hard not to go back and do it, but I'm like, no, I just have to get this draft done and I can fix it later. So what I've been doing to help myself when I get to revisions is I'll just write notes, or I even know like there have been a couple of scenes that I'm like, this is going to be completely rewritten to be a completely different interaction, a completely different setup. So I just went up into the back, like before the chapter started, and wrote like a giant paragraph, almost like you would see on like a script of like explaining where you are and what you're doing, like you do in a movie script. And I just basically did that at the beginning. It was like, all of these things are going to change, and then I continued drafting as if I had already made those changes. So my first draft is going to be a mess, as they typically are, but that's one thing that I've been doing to help me, and I have a feeling I'm probably going to love revisions. I have no idea. We'll see. I guess when I get there, if I love or hate my revisions. Powder. Endings. Do you write chronologically or start at the end? Do you know your ending when you start? Prefer happy endings or bittersweet? That's a lot of questions. Okay, so for powder, I'm not going to powder my entire face yet. I'm powder just underneath the eyes to set my concealer. For that, I'm going to use this banana setting powder by I have no idea who. So the question about this though, let's see. So first of all, do you write chronologically? Yes, I cannot jump around, and I don't understand how writers can jump around. If you can do it, more power to you for sure. But I have to write chronologically. And then if I can't get something, if I'm stuck in a scene, I'll just use placeholders so I can go back later to fix it. But I do write chronologically. Do you know your ending when you start? I do. Generally, you know, just because I know, for example, I know the ending of this book. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't say that I know the ending to this book. I had my outline before I started writing. I had an idea, but since I've started drafting, I've actually changed a couple things with the ending, and I actually don't. I do not really know. I have an idea, or like a vague idea of what the ending is going to be. I think I used too much of this, but I don't know 100% what the ending will be. Let's grab this to clean this up a little bit. And then, do you like bittersweet or happy endings? It depends on the book. I love to read happy endings. I like to write bittersweet or punch you in the gut endings. This is interesting, because I usually do my eyebrows last, but it wants me to do my eyebrows next. Eyebrows. Titles. Do you come up with them before you start? During? After? Is titling your work important to you or not? I hate titles. I do try to come up with them a little bit before I start, but I don't know. Like Behind the Red Door is probably going to end up being my title, but it could change. I don't know. It is an important part of, you know, of the book, so it's probably going to stay the same. I like to have an idea of the title, just because I feel like if I don't have a title, I don't really feel like I'm working on a book. Having a title, having something to call it, it makes me feel like I'm really working on something. Oh, and I don't know what this is. This is the LA Colors Browy Wowie Brow Pencil in some, I don't know, dark brown, because I have dark hair. Espresso. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I do like coming up with the title beforehand. I'm not married to the title, so something else may change to, you know, change or adjust the title, but I don't really feel like I'm really working on a book if it doesn't have a title while I'm working on it. I might try with my next project, just I see a lot of Authortubers that will just call it like project whatever, you know, like I know Kate Kavanaugh does her like project blue, project purple, so she has colors for them. I might try that next time. I feel like my brows look insane, and I don't know if it's because I did my brows making me look insane, or if it's because I don't have any eyeshadow or anything. I feel a little crazy. I'm not loving this right now. I just can't with these brows. I can't. Eyeshadow. Some people go monochromatic and some people blend. Do you love big or small casts? What's your favorite character development hack? I don't know what I wanted to do eyeshadow wise. I actually am realizing I didn't come up with a plan, but it is rainy outside and very fall vibes, and I want to lean into that, I think. So yes, I think I'm going to use this Retro Love palette by Bad Habits. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a really long time. So what was the question? Oh yeah, do I like big or small cast? I love a big cast. One thing about writing my book is I love just randomly coming up with new characters. Like, she's in high school, so just like there's teachers and there's friends and friend groups and mean girls. I have a feeling when it comes to revisions, I may be deleting characters, blending them into other people, stuff like that. But initially, I like a big cast, because think about in real life, we don't only know like 5 people in real life, you know? I mean, geez, I go to work and there's 12 people, right, in just one group, or 10, 12 people, something like that, in one group of people. So yeah, so for me, I would say big cast, yes, because it is realistic. Yeah, and what is my best, like, character development hack? What really helped me was during Camp NaNoWriMo, when I started doing all my, like, collages. That really helped me figure out, like, so I was able to get better, like, into the mind of these characters, because I could see them. They had a face, they had clothes, and I mean, I would spend hours just looking at, like, creating, like, almost like closets for my characters. I'm a weirdo, but it really helped me to get in the mind of all of my characters and really see who they are better. So the first thing I did was Rock and Roll, which is this, like, red, and then I'm gonna go in here with Free Love, which is like this really, really dark bluish green color all over the top of the lid. I just pat it in there. Let me get a little closer so you can see. And just kind of blend. I do not know how beauty gurus do this, like, no joke. So let's grab, this is, you can't even see it, it's my Per Cosmetic Sculpture. It's got like bronzer, or like a contour palette here, and it's got some highlighter in it. So I will grab, I like to grab like a little pop there to just lighten it up a little bit. Eyeliner, what is the hardest thing for you to write? I would say dialogue is definitely the hardest thing for me to write. Dialogue that sounds natural and realistic is a bitch. And I also want to write screenplays, which are basically all dialogue. Yeah, no. It's not my favorite. It's not the most comfortable for me to write. I'm working on it, and I feel like as the book gets better, my dialogue is becoming a lot more normal sounding, and I am improving, and I'm just trying to focus and tell myself, like, it doesn't really matter right now. The idea in drafting is just to get some dialogue down, and then I can improve it in revisions. Mascara. So for my mascara, I'm using the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, which is getting dried out and running out, and it is my favorite. I'm not loving that it's running out because it is expensive, but it's my favorite. Okay, so mascara. Do you write long or short? What's your first draft's typical word count? I can't answer that again because I'm still drafting. I will say I'm definitely an overwriter for sure. I'm not even done with the first act. I'm already at almost 25,000 words. I'm definitely gonna have to cut that down a lot when it comes to revisions. Ideally, I think I want this book to finish at 90,000 words. I have a feeling though when my draft is finished, it's probably going to be over 100,000, like way over 100,000. So I don't really know. I guess we'll have to answer that question again. My plan is to do another version of this after I do revisions, and so I guess we can kind of update that later. I have a lot of work still to do, and I'm already at like what should be more than a quarter of the way through the book. So I'm definitely an overwriter for sure. Right, now I'm feeling a little bit better about my brows too. Contour. Tell us about the dark parts of your book. Who is your villain / antagonist? What dark, creepy, tough things do your characters face? So that's hard because I don't want to overshare. For my contour, I'm using the Wet n Wild dual-ended contour stick. I don't use this part ever, but I do love the contour part. So, but I will admit I'm not great at contouring, like at all. What are the dark parts of this book? Well, this book is incredibly dark. If you guys don't really know, if you're new to my channel or you haven't heard me talk about my work in progress, basically all I really want to say now is it's about this girl Lexi, who is on the run from a creepy cult leader. So she is on the run with her aunt, who came basically to save her. And they're living in a very small town, trying to just live a normal life and make friends and meet boys and do all of those things. But, you know, Jonah's still out there. He could find them, and if he finds them, he'll either make her go back, or he basically could kill everybody. Like, he can burn her whole life to the ground. And he's just a really, really bad dude. And what I like about the idea of these like cult leaders, and why I love this idea of this villain, is that he is a really bad dude that pretends to be a good dude. So that's really the dark parts. There's a lot more that I don't want to say. This book is very dark though. Blush. Who are you most scared to share your work with? This is the very loved Melissa Michelle. She's like a YouTube beauty vlogger. It's her palette that she did with Ulta Beauty a long time ago. And I just love the blush in here. It's called Mahal, and that is typically my go-to blush. So who am I most scared to share my work with? Everybody. But honestly, I think mostly the people that I inspired characters by. Because the thing is I basically just inspired them by an idea or a friendship, or you know, there's like little Easter eggs throughout my entire book that I'm planning, or that I've already written for the people that I love. You know, there's stuff for my parents or my grandmother, my best friends in high school. So these people were very, very important to me at that age, so I put them on my book. But the characters are their own people, so they're just inspired by, but not based on, if that makes sense. And so I just don't want them to think that I didn't do them justice, or that I think of them in a certain way. And I also think it's harder to share your work with the people closest to you, because their opinion matters so much more than like Joe Schmo that just bought my book, or that, you know, beta reader number 10. Obviously I'm going to enjoy their feedback, but my husband's feedback is going to have more of an emotional impact on me. You know what I mean? And then I just don't want anybody to I want everybody to read my book, but I'm terrified for anybody to read my book ever. Later. Favorite type of scene to write? Ooh. I think I would say, let's see, my favorite type of scene to write would just be, I think I'm really enjoying writing the friend aspect. Like anytime Allie and Lexi, or Allie and like anybody is in a scene, I love writing her stuff. But I'm not great with the dialogue, but I am enjoying having a lot of fun with these characters and having them do silly things. And Allie talks way too fast, and you know, I love that character, and I'm loving writing her stuff a lot. Also the stuff with Aunt Sarah and Lexi, I really enjoyed those moments of that close, like I have this very like kind of Gilmore Girls-esque type relationship idea that I want for Sarah and Lexi, so I love writing those scenes. Yeah, those are my favorite. There are the struggles because I'm not great with dialogue, but they are my favorite and the ones that I'm having the most fun writing. Lipstick. Ooh, writing kissing scenes, love or hate? How do you tackle them? This is my absolute favorite, just everyday lipstick. This is the Maybelline Touch of number 660, Touch of Spice. And it's a matte lipstick. I mean, you can see this is all that's left. And this is the second time I bought this lipstick. It is my favorite. Okay, so how do I tackle kissing scenes? Well, I haven't done it yet. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I have a feeling it's just going to be like any other scene. My feeling is probably going to be awkward. I'm hoping it's not gonna be super mechanical, but I do love the emotion behind the kissing scene. I'm just going to focus on little descriptions of the actual physical aspect of it and more of the emotional. What is it doing to her? There's a couple of kissing scenes in this book, but I'm not a romance writer, so it's nice to, in this case, doing YA in this book because I don't have to do a lot of kissing scenes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the completed look. I'm definitely not a makeup beauty guru, but it's still fun to sit down and play with makeup with your friends and talk about writing. So if you want to see me do the booktube version, leave a comment down below and I will do that probably next month. Other than that, I would love to know your answers. So I'm not going to tag anybody just because I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable putting their makeup on camera. So if you want to do this video, I would love to see your versions of this video. Leave a comment down below if you have done it or you plan on doing it, or a link to go see it or something. Or just, you know, if you don't want to do the makeup, I still want to know your answers. So you can just, I'll leave all the questions down below so you can just answer them in the comments. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go write some words or read a book, and I will check you guys later.